Always good to get inside from the rain. And also, when the camera controls are shifting, you have to adjust your character controls a little bit, because it doesn't stay the same even if the camera shifts. Like, let's say that you're running in a straight line, like I did over those pipes, and as soon as the camera starts shifting like this, like you have to actually shift your control stick, because you can't just hold down you can't just push in the direction of like you're going in a straight line, because that doesn't actually work with the controls. So that's a little bit iffy, but you know, it works out. Because I think just when you could just only control your character and just push in one direction with the controller, and it would go straight regardless of the camera controls. I think that's just some kind of old school thing. Now, so you avoid that ladder because it doesn't actually take you anywhere, and you're supposed to go around. Yeah. So the first time I did this, I obviously failed to realize that. Took me like 3 tries to realize that, oh, you're supposed to go around. And you avoid this ladder too, I think? Oh, no, you don't. Okay, so you jump down here. And then you jump across. Yeah, so notice that there is a gate there, which you usually open up when you have Jorda. So the question is, how do you open up that when she is not around? And yeah, at first you might think that you can actually interact with the boat, but no, you can't. And here's a sword lying on an altar. I don't know why they would put it here, but I guess, you know, the guards which brings you with them to the prison in the beginning of the game, I guess they just put the sword here on the altar. Because I do remember this sword for some reason, which the guards used to open up the various gates. So now that you have that sword, you can actually go back and open up this one. Yeah, it totally sucks that I have to actually do this part again, because I actually have played it before. So it just feels like, as I'm saying words, it really feels like it doesn't feel as good as I want it to be when I talk about something I've actually seen before. So you take this elevator and I think most people immediately recognize that you end up in the very beginning area you start off from in the game. And camera angles. And that's the prison that you broke out of. The first time I saw that cutscene, oh whoops, I kind of hit Jorda. That was not meant to happen. So you see how this I hate this part. It's not scary in any way, but it is just so unsettling. Because you can clearly see that the shapes are the same as the boys. Which means that all of these shades are of all the boys that were imprisoned together with you. And yes, the first time I saw it, and every time I see it now, it's just so sad to see it happen. Why did this have to happen? Why did the queen do this? And they look almost exactly the same as me, like they have horns on their skulls. And I have to kill them. Can you... and they're pretty good at dodging your attacks. Come on, I'm not scary. And the music is also pretty unsettling. This is just too cruel. I'm not gonna lie, I had to shed some tears when I saw this, because this was just too emotional to bear when you get to this part. And you have to kill off all of them. For every prison in this area, you have to kill all of the shades. Because when you're done, all of the prisons would glow brightly. I think they did a pretty good job with this part, because obviously there wasn't much to actually get emotional about throughout the course of the game. But when you just get to this part, it's just, why did this happen? This is just unsettling as hell. Or at least it was and still is to me because of the music. So I think they did a really good job with this part. I was actually, oh right, I also felt goosebumps when I saw the cutscene of the boys standing over, or the shades standing over Yorda. Like, what is going on? But now that I've actually done this, I think this is like the second or third time? I don't remember. It's not as bad, but it's still like... it's a bit of a hassle to kill off all of these shades. So the conclusion you can kind of draw from this is that everyone who is imprisoned on this island eventually turn into all of these different shades or shadows that you've been fighting throughout the game. But they do have different shapes, so it's like, I guess they eventually grow into those even less human-like shadows or shades that you do fight. And this is just like the first stage of transformation that the prisoners go through. So all the time throughout the whole game, I've been fighting, I don't know, The one thing that really bothers me is that all of them, all of these shades I'm fighting here, they have horns, just like me. So that should mean that every shadow or shade that you fight were the same. And the question is, why does this even happen to... Am I done? Oh, yeah, I am. So why are all of these... Why is every prisoner on this island, why do they have horns on their heads? Why were we taken here? It's just so strange. It's like the queen is committing genocide against like this tribe of people who have horns on their heads. What is up with that? And as you open up this gate, it takes you to the top of the tower, or to the top of the castle, which is the throne room. I wasn't sure what these were for when I got here the first time, when I did my first recording session, but it eventually becomes pretty apparent, so... let's see, so first you don't really see anything. You take the sword, and she will cast the shadow of death. So you run up to her orb or shield and you have to break it. And you stand behind these statues or pillars to avoid getting hit by it. I think you actually, I don't remember if you die from one hit or if you, no. Actually, so when you're holding the sword, it does protect you. And you can also stand behind these pillars if you don't have the sword. Because if you fail to do so, you will get a game over, and you have to do this fight all over again. But the fight itself is not too bad. You just have to follow the same pattern. Let's see, where is the sword? Okay. Make a break for it. Take the sword. And run back. And where did the sword go? Oh, okay, it's stuck in the wall. Go! Yeah, so if you hold the sword, you will make it. Oh, actually, let's just stand here to be safe. And the barrier breaks. But the sword is actually thrown back a pretty far distance, so you have to go back and get it. And that's where this pillar is very good to have. Yeah, it ends up in the same location every time, it seems. So you just go back, and then you just deal the final blow.